Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, just wondering we should wait for 1 or 2 minutes more so that a few of the people who are registered can join and don't miss the most exciting and energetic parts in the early stages of the webinar. What do you think? Yes? Great. Okay, sounds good. Let's wait for maybe 75 seconds, 1.5 minutes. Okay, let's do that. Hi, friends. This sounds awesome now. Welcome to this highly exciting, invigorating, and very new topic that we all listen day in and day out from across the world of internet. Not only that, anywhere you go for any networking, you find people talking about AI only. That's the new buzzword. There was a time when the internet came into being, it was a new buzzword, and today AI is the new buzzword. Everybody is talking about AI only. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that people really don't know onto what AI is, and other than that, can that be secure in a sense that we can use it for our internal purposes within our organizations? Yes, that's a possibility. And that's what we are talking today, how we can do that. And this is specifically for the business owners, for the startups into the SaaS domain who are setting up new applications, who are setting up new companies, and also the companies who are already into growing stage, companies with 100 plus people and a good turnover. That's the stage when they need systems to be placed. That's the stage when they need things to happen. So that is where we come into picture. Now, I will just start with my discussions along with you. I would like all of you to discuss and put out your comments in chat or maybe raise your hands so we can take a Q&A session at the end of this. But keep noting down the points, keep jotting down the points that will be interesting to you. There may be few things that you feel that it is something, an eye opener for you. It's the wow moment for you. And to not forget that, really, to not forget that, keep a note of it. So, first, take 10 seconds, pick up the nearest notebook and a pen or pencil, and keep that handy. That's what's going to help you out. Okay, friends, entrepreneurs, business owners, hope you must have picked up the pen and pencil lying nearby somewhere and must be ready. Yes, let's get on to this and not waste your time. Basically, we have scheduled a short meeting, a short webinar. The only reason for that is we don't waste your time and give you what is needed for you. Rather than beating around the bush, we dive straight into the topic and then discuss what is this. Now, the subject line must be very interesting to you, maybe flagrant to you. It's just turn your documents into a private and secured AI brain. What is this AI brain? We have been learning about AI. A lot is just artificial intelligence. Now, how do we call it a brain? Basically, it's like a human brain where lots of data is stored inside multiple chambers or multiple servers, multiple GPUs processing it. It's like a human brain. Okay, what happens here is all this data that is stored into the AI servers is basically tagged and embedded into different pieces and connected with each other and then stored into that. Now, here, what we are talking about? We are talking about an environment wherein we can do this within our organization. It's not very heavy on the servers. Doesn't mean that it's very small, you can run on a laptop, surely. But yes, this can be run in internal organizations. What happens is you have a lot of documents lying in your organization in multiple places, maybe Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, and a lot of things in your mail, in your laptop folders. Now, finding out something out of this is really a Herculean task. You really don't know. How do you really find out what is the thing that you need? Because you hardly remember tips and bits of that. Now, searching through so much of data and getting what you need, at times you feel that it's easier basically to go ahead and build it up new, isn't it? So this is what most of the people have been doing. From a business owner point of view, have a look back. How much of time, valuable time, your team is wasting on fishing out these documents or recreating those, in even if you have something that's lying on your servers, lying on your hard disk, lying on your USBs, lying on your online drives. So let's see an option. As a business owner, how can I reduce the time that is spent by my team? Or you take example of one man within your team who spends X amount of time in a day and multiply it by the different people who are working on laptops and computers or on systems. How many effective working hours that can be utilized to do something productive is being spent there. We'll go through the problems, the risk of public AI, the solution architecture as an overall bird's eye view, or you can say the eagle's eye view, I can give an idea, and the real world use cases and deployment options that you can try out, you can think of, and a clear implementation roadmap for you. This sounds exciting, right? You will have an idea of what needs to be done, how that needs to be done, and a clear roadmap on how you can go and implement that by the end of this session. Happy with that? Okay, cheers. Okay, great. Let's spend one effective hour trying to learn this, trying to understand this, trying to break it down rather than it becoming a rocket science. It becomes as simple as baking or making an omelette in a home. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you have documents lying everywhere. You have a lot of SOPs that you have created over a period of 4 years, 5 years, or 10 years as SMEs who have been working or who have been trying to grow and scale over a period of 10 years. A lot of SOPs in a lot of different places, different shared drives. Some most of them must have gone as backups with some of your senior people living in their mails and in their folders. It must have gone as backup drive somewhere. It must be contracts that you have been sending across to people and that's lost in the email threads. There are examples when we see people having an email box, inboxes of around 5 GB or 10 GB or maybe 20 GB of data. How do you fish out something from there? How do you know which is the latest, which is not the duplicate, which is the draft version, which is the original version, unless you find the signed version? There are a lot of manuals that different departments have been created at different stages of your growth, even if at stages it is for your ISO certifications or different security level certifications, lying at different places. No proper categorization, no proper place where you can find the latest version of that. And even if it's lying there, whether that version has been updated or not, we don't know. We are not sure of that, right? How many reports have been created by the team at different points of time? N number of reporters, because we business owners normally have meetings across maybe weekly, bi-weekly, fortnightly, and every meeting you have a report generated for your presentation, for their information, for their graphs, the Excels, where they are. Do you exactly know what is the report that was presented to by team member A 3 months back on this topic? You saw that if something is lying in your brain still out of memory, you know it, but no dedicated or confirmed reports or confirmed numbers you have there. You are believing your brains. You are believing on something someone says. No other option. Unfortunate. Then how many of the policies that you have gone out of date? You, for example, if you take it to HR, there are n number of policies that's been created for leave, for transfer, transportation, all blah blah work policies, night shift, day shift. How many are there? Where are they? Even if you have them in one place, When was the last time what that was updated, and something new, has something new come up by the government organizations, government policies has changed? Has that been incorporated into this? No idea, right? This is where we are, on a mountain of untapped knowledge. Really unfortunate of that. So because it's not the problem of us, it's not the problem of the company. What happens in the growth stages, initial growth stages, we focus more on client deliverables, we focus more on client acquisition, we focus more on each of the deliverable activity going on, and we put less time effort into the finance numbers, into the sales numbers, the sales contracts, the HR activities, the HR policies, SOPs for sales. We put less effort because everything is lying in your brain with a small team, and you know each and every activity that goes, because you have an habit as a business owner that everything needs to go by you. You need to be the authority for signing off on it to anything, right? This is where we get stuck. Now, just I'm going a bit deeper into the cost of not taking an action, or the cost of not trying to implement a proper system which can be integrated with AI, with or without AI, but a proper system that's available in a very searchable mode. In the older days, if you go to the organizations, or best examples of the government organizations, where the filing system is there, the paper files, everything is laid out, indexed, categorized, and put in trays, put in rows, put in different tables. But over a period of time, when the computers started coming, when we started thinking that using paper printing unwantedly is wastage of trees, and that's the right thing, we are spoiling our own environment by cutting more trees. Now what happened? Everything is lying on individual systems. Now, next step further, when people started using mobile devices, laptops, iPads, tablets, mobiles, lot of data resides on those independent devices. Never correlated, never connected to each other, never tried to be properly categorized, tagged, and put in a place. It's not because people don't want to, it's because it's not a culture that was built. People were only focusing on the deliverables, the sales, and how the company moves forward day by day. And you get every day, as business owners, you get firefighting efforts where you need to spend time. Now, your team spend basically, as per analytics, 20 to 30% of their week looking at documents that already exist or creating new. Now, the second thing is, most of or many of the critical knowledge lies in the head and brains of senior people and critical employees who have been working with you from the beginning. Right? You think it's right? Think of the day when that guy goes and you are doomed. Most of the data, most of the information, most of the context of data, most of the connectivity of data is gone with him. The knowledge is lost. That's the reason most business owners fear dropping out an employee. It's because they don't have a proper system and neither an exit policy wherein the handover of the things happens very comfortably. Now, with this delayed access to information, what happens? You have been facing it day in and day out. You want information, it comes to you, maybe it comes in 3-4 hours, you are lucky, it comes after a day or two. By the time the ideas you are taught, the context you have built for taking a decision is dropped out halfway through, and with that data that comes, it's already delayed by 48 hours plus. Also, that data is 48 hours plus or maybe 72 hours older. What happened in the last 3 days or 72 hours is nowhere mentioned. You have no track of that. So the decision that you take may be right, may not be right. Then what we do as business owners, you and me, we go ahead and take a decision based on our gut feeling, the sixth sense that we say, right? Now, that's a huge thing that could be done in an era where internet was not there, but in an era where we have everything at the tip of our fingers and in front of our eyes. That's one thing we should be really avoiding and not getting into that domain again. We are growing. We need to scale faster. The older days, the companies used to take decades to scale. Nowadays, we can scale in years, or maybe months at times, or quarters for sure. So let's look at things that we get information that is real time, what's happening 5 minutes back, till the time I was updated, which is live. And you take a decision. It's more effective, more relevant, and gets more results. Also, the knowledge loss on exit of staff, institutional knowledge, your cultural knowledge, everything walks away with him out of the door. And that's a fact we all know. We all have been facing that problem day in and day out with exit. Unless some of us have set up systems where all the knowledge is captured in the systems with a proper documentation and tagging, so the new guy comes, he logs in with his authentication, and he gets everything that the older guy had in his brains. That's knowledge. And how to retrieve that data is what is AI. No, there have been bits and pieces when this OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, DeepSeek, they have been trying to bring in people, giving them free access, free pro versions with different coordination combinations with different other players. They have been giving you options. Once that come in, we not having more information, more knowledge on how to use it, we start using them. We share our personal, very confidential company data onto a public API, public domain with any of these open LLMs, and then extract data from that. Did you ever think the proposal that's being made is being formatted and rewritten over a ChatGPT? Doesn't ChatGPT use it somewhere? Or would some of your competitors who knows how to write a better prompt try to extract something on these lines from your data? If you're very prominent on ChatGPT, your data is already there. You're known on ChatGPT. ChatGPT knows you as an individual. It knows you as an entity, and your data is connected to that. There are examples, someone who has been using ChatGPT for 5 months, 6 months for all his mailing systems, for all his resume building, or maybe for his skill building, if he is using for that. You ask a question, who am I? It will create a profile of yours and give you. So do you think at some point of time it goes out? One thing is sure, in today's world, there is nothing known as free lunch. There was a time, 4 decades back, when there was a concept of free lunch. Now there is no free lunch, because if you are not being billed, if you are not paying for something, then you are the product. You are being sold. Think about it. One best example, you have been talking to your friend on a drive that you wanted to purchase a villa in this place, these areas, and when you go home, you open up your mobile, you start getting ads of villas in those areas. You didn't even switch on, you didn't even open up your phones. It was lying in the car dash. All these AI systems, anything that is connected to internet, is always available and listening to you, all of your thoughts. If that is so open, how comfortable you can be when you have this data being posted, your financial data, your proposal data, your quotations, your inventory, to generate a report into ChatGPT or OpenAI. I am not blaming one, or Copilot or DeepSeek, any of them, or maybe Claude. It's all the same. Now, do you think this sensitive data like your contracts should be shared externally? No. But do you also think that you need the help of an AI to help you review the past 4 contracts and get a context of that before generating a new one? You can't say no to that. It's always help, and that gives faster results. Same way, your HR data exposures. How much of your HR data can be exposed so that it's not breached and not misused by someone else? Then your IP leakage, you have proprietary data, you have proprietary drawings of your products, the proprietary process flow of your services. You like that to be fed into the public models? No. No, even if we do that, don't you think we are breaching a lot of the compliance violations that we are supposed to be adhering to, the NDAs that we have signed with people? Aren't we breaching them? At some point of time, there are a lot of industry-specific regulations. There is a HIPAA, there is a GDPR. If we are breaching them, are we not going to get into a problem at some point of time? Yes, today we may not, tomorrow you may not, but isn't that a risk that you are taking knowingly and acting as if we don't know it, right? So, public AI is always powerful, but it's not a safe place for you, especially for sensitive data. It has to be within your hands, well covered, locked and sealed, with no access outside. Yes, people who can hack your systems, that's okay. You find different ways to block that. There's cyber security you can do. But giving it in the open like this, on an open hand, is something that's wrong. Now, the question is, can we use AI without losing control? The answer is yes, but it requires asking the right questions before deploying anything. Before you deploy anything, you must make sure this whole thing runs inside our environment, maybe in a local LAN, great. If you put it on your private cloud, that's also fine. If you're using Azure or AWS, but the servers are your dedicated servers, only you have access, data doesn't go out, that's also fine. So make sure any of the document or papers don't leave out the environment or the network of yours which is secure. Because for that security, you have put in a lot of money. You have put in a lot of firewalls. You have put in a lot of single sign-on options, multiple authorizations, dual step authorization, this, that, blah, blah, a lot of things coming today. Having all this done, if you, as a gentleman, open it out to the open, it's gone. Also, we should have control who needs to know what. It can never be that anybody in the organization can have access to everything. We need to have a control there. What level of authorization is available for what level of employee? That should be predefined. And at the end of the day, you should always have an option where this all interactions that happen with the AI, with any of the employees, from any of the employees, is auditable. Now, how do we do that? Make sure there is a proper log created for all the queries, all the responses, and access for compliance review. So you need not fear of any of the compliances that go on because you have a proper documentation for that. Now, the question that you see in the front of the banner or when you hit join the event is, what's the private AI brain? It's a basically intelligent document assistant or your executive assistant who has access or who has in the brains all the data in the organization. And you ask for something in the natural language and it responds back to you in the natural language. That is what AI is in simple layman's terms. It's your executive assistant who can give you any data at fingertips whenever you ask. In the way you ask, you get the responses. You need not learn programming, you need not learn computers, you just need to learn what to ask and where to ask. Fine. Now, your private AI always should be hosted internally. Internally, I already told you, it should be on isolated servers, which is not connected and openly available, connected to the open world and open LLMs or internet. And only your documents are put in there, and it doesn't go into the world searching for answers for those documents. It has to get the answers within those documents and exactly and only from the internal knowledge base. It should not go out and search for things. So no connectivity outside. No public calls from within your systems, internally based AI systems. Your NLPs, your RAG, no external calls. It has to be everything internal. No third-party endpoints, no APIs going out. And then finally, you need to sit and finalize the role-based access. Who gets access to what and how much needs to be given to that. Now, I'll just give you a block diagram, you can say, or how the data flows in a private AI brain. Okay, straightforward, simple pipeline. Now, at one point, you start wherein you upload files from your environment, you upload the documents, then it converts those documents automatically in the backend, make the content searchable and parsed. Then it goes and index the vectors into a private DB, in a private vector database. It's created and stored within your servers, and it's stored securely there. After that, when you submit a natural language query, in the sense the way you and me talk in English, we talk to it, ask it questions, then it goes, searches this vector database, picks up the data, goes through RAG, and gives you a grounded response exactly to what you asked. Now, if the question is not right, not properly framed, then it may give a different answer. Then you reframe the question and it gets the answer again. This is what is a simple concept of how an AI brain works, or how you can implement AI into your internal application, internal servers, secure local LANs, and make sure nothing goes out of it. And as you keep on getting new documents, new updates, new versions, this keeps on being uploaded from the first point that you can see, and keeps on updating the servers or the databases. Now, I mentioned the word RAG, that is RAG. What is RAG? It's a retrieval augmented generation. Basically, it's the architecture that made private AI or public AI more accurate and safe. The reason here is it does not memorize your data. It retrieves the relevant context on demand and then forgets it. So what happens here is there is no other place other than your database where your data resides. It's not stored anywhere. It first retrieves, then answers you. Nothing is permanently trained or retained externally. Everything is in your data structures, in your vector database, in your MySQL DB, wherever needed to connectivities. Now, how does it happen? Now, where does the retrieval come? I'll just give a smaller, deeper understanding into technology. It's a layman's language. You can surely understand that. It's not highly technical, but yeah. So you know basically what this whole story is about. In the retrieve, what happens? It searches the vector database. Vector database is not the common database you find across MySQL or Page or Postgres or Oracle or whatever. Vector is a different style of storing the data. For the relevant document sections based in the query, this goes and searches and retrieves that, and pass the retrieved context directly to language model. We implement a language model, that is the NLP language model, natural language processing model, over RAG, and this data is passed there, context, and then NLP converts that into answer based on the provided context and the question you are asked. It's not training in data. It's on the fly. So the faster you serve, the faster you get replies. The more data you have within your data structures, the more context you get. Simple as that. The more you have, the more you get. The more you put in, the more you have. Okay? So more you put in, more you have, and the more you get when you ask a question. Very simple. So simple and easy. Now, the core components. There are a few core components while setting up a private AI. There are 5 levels that work in concert to deliver a secure and responsive and auditable AI knowledge system. The most important is, one is it should be secure, it should be responsive, and also it should be auditable. Some auditors coming from outside who knows technology, if you give these audit logs, they can run through it and know the tracking, who is using it, what has he been trying to find out, what are the questions he asked, what are the answers that he got. Lovely. So you exactly know who is doing what and who is asking for what. Does the gentleman really need to know that? So that is what is tracking and auditing. We need that. Now, I'll give a few use cases engineering for engineering and manufacturing industries. Now, what if your team can ask, show me the last three specification revisions for a part, blah, blah, blah. Or you can tell, compare version A and version B tolerances and give me a summary. Or you can say, compliance, summarize the compliance differences for ISO 9001. The outcome will be faster quoting cycles. You can give quotes faster because you have it builds up a summary and gives you, and fewer costly errors and engineering knowledge that doesn't disappear when a senior engineer retires or he leaves your company, goes somewhere else. The knowledge stays with you. With so much knowledge of being put into the system by that engineer itself, his limitations of memorizing them and keeping them is also less. He cannot take away anything because everything is connected to data structures and moved into your database. The day he leaves, you took the laptop back and the phone's back, everything is with you. Nothing goes other than a few bits and pieces which is in his brain. Isn't that a good use case? Think over. I'll give one more use case. The next one. Yeah. That's a legal in contracts. Now, have you thought of a team manager sitting and trying to go through the 40-page vendor agreement and with the legal words, legal context in that? Do you really think he must have read and understood everything in that? No. Did he identify all the penalty and liability clauses in that, other than the few that are there in bulleted points? Can he compare two contracts side by side and see what the differences within that? 40-page, I'm talking about 40-page document, two 40-page documents, comparing side by side, almost an impossibility by a human being, unless he's a different caliber, different IQ level. Can he extract all the obligations and deadlines from a contract? These are the kinds of work that senior associates took hours and days to finish and now can be done in minutes because you have this 40-page contract is in your system, tell you to summarize and give you to summarize and give you bulleted points. You ask him to identify all the penalty and legal liability clauses, it will give you a list of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know it, that's all. Nothing more than that. So doesn't this excite you? Don't you think how much of effort is reduced there? Number one, how much of chances of mistakes or human errors that happen? Which is the last time, the nearest last time when you face such a problem, you couldn't read the whole contract, 40 or 50 pages, and you signed off on that and sent it. Finally, at one stage, you find that you are not in a position to get out of that. You are stuck with one of the penalty points in this, one of the obligations in that, which we never read that. It's a fine print. Like we say in the insurance models, insurance has a big document which is a fine print. And unfortunately, they don't even give you a copy of what you signed. So funny of them. At least when you go home and read, you could spend some 3 days, 4 days reading it. They don't even give you a copy of that. A lot of places this happens. So this is one of the use cases that can be implemented in any of the industries who have vendors, who have deliverables, who have teams, they can use it. Now, the next use case is the common use case for everybody, the HR and internal policies. We all know there are a lot of policies that being created day in and day out by the HR department as per the new rules and policies of the governments that come in, new laws that come in. For example, you can give a chatbot to an employee rather than keeping 3 members in the HR team who will respond to answers of these members. Give a chatbot to that. It asks any question about the maternity leave policy, show me the onboarding checklist for new hires, summarize the expense reimbursement process. And you don't need an individual human to sit there and tell from his brain or give printouts to him. This chat can respond back in the language they asked, the important points. The next day, ask, explain this point. So whatever is there in the contract, in the policy document, will extract and show it to him. So easy. You are reducing staff there. You are really basically keeping your HR team motivated. Rather than they answering the same questions day in and day out of 300 or 400 people team size with 2 or 3 HR sitting there, they get mad by the end of the day. The same questions, the same answers, they become like a parrot repeating the same thing. The benefit for the employees, they need not walk down there, they need not ask there or send a mail, wait for answers, click on that, talk, and they get the answer instantly. On the run, on the walk, they get on the mobiles. This reduces the frustration and improves compliance. Don't you feel this is important for you? This is a very good use case. Across industries can be put. Now, the management reporting. Yeah, this is a very big deal. That's what we call MIS rather than management reporting. If I change the word to MIS, every business owner opens his eyes. Yes, you need to know what has been happening the last quarter and what's happening in this quarter. What's the differences? Where are the variations? Why there is no fund in my banks? Why the sales is low? Which salesperson's performance has gone down? Or which salesperson has improved his performance? Don't you need these informations on the fly? So just put some simple answers. Summarize quarter 3 sales performance across all regions. It will give you a full 2-paragraph summary telling you what you needed. Rather than a 15-page document, you give it 2 paragraphs. You read it, you understand it. Listen to it, you understand it. Make it talk. Or ask it, what's the top 5 revenue drivers for this year till date? It will give you which are the products that are giving you more revenue rather than which are the ones that's not being sold and lying in a store. So your clarity in between a meeting is very high. Someone is talking junk sitting in front of you, you can ask this, get a clear report, and you know that the guy who's talking in front of you is talking junk. He's wasting your time. So these kind of meetings, just for gathering information, can be dropped down. Just think over how many hours of senior executive meetings that happen every day in any organization can be reduced by that. But by all the executives getting the information they want on the fly, and that too real time. Because everything is being sales is being updated, the inventory billing is being updated, your cash flow is being updated, you get everything. Why do you want someone to come and present you a report or a graph? You don't need that. Right? Now, there are multiple options of deploying such kind of environments. I'm coming to the end of the scale wherein I will tell you how easy it is to deploy. The best thing, the most important, the best thing that you can do is deploy it on your premise if you have the space, if you have the infrastructure, if all the people using it have the access to that. Now, you may say we are all on internet, our servers, we have 1 or 2 servers, but they are not properly connected, we don't get access. Those things can be improved in today's world. Put up 1 or 2 private IP, public IPs on that, connect to the public IP. Make sure it's routed through some proxies so that no data goes down. Put up a VPN tunnel so all your mobiles and the laptop users connect to the VPN. No data goes anywhere. It's a pipe. It's very easy. You don't need huge racks and servers for this. You need some good high-end pieces of servers, but not huge racks, as it mentioned, a $1 billion for setting up an AI data center. You don't need to set up a data center. You need something which can ingrain and digest your data and spill out what you need in the words you need. That's all. Simple. The best benefit is there is no internet exposure because whatever data goes in, goes out is a secure pipe of VPN. No air gaps capable anywhere. The regulatory 100% compliance. You have no issues in this. That's the best part of this model, on-premise deployment. The second is private cloud. Yeah, a lot of people, rather than putting it on-premise, where there are places where the internet is still growing, still improving, still stabilizing, where they don't want to spend some kind of money buying infrastructure and putting in capital expenses into that to reduce cap expenses. They put it on the clouds. There are a lot of cloud providers like Amazon, Azure, Google. There's a big ones I named. There are a lot of small providers also. Take a dedicated server from them, set it up on your own, put up the firewalls, encrypt at rest and encrypt in transit, and don't put it on the public. Connect a VPN to connect to that data. All your users need data has to be a VPN. That's all. Highly secure. Even if you don't have a VPN, if it is directly connected through your authentication, then also it's okay to a great extent. If you have VPN, you're 100% secure. No one can tap into that within your VPN access, without your VPN access. The best part is it's highly scalable. As your data grows, your infra can grow, and that too on rentals. So you don't have to invest more capex onto that. The capital expenses are less. Isn't it something exciting? For people who are looking at low expenses and putting up something like this is the way out. The third is, as you always that we have been using the hybrid model, put something on your servers locally, put something on the cloud, and make sure the sensitive data remains on the premises and general documents put up on the clouds. General document that's been created, maybe some of the policy, HR policies, those things are common across, those can be put on the cloud. Remaining highly confidential, your codes, your drawings, or maybe in intelligent inputs onto your products or services that can be stored on-premise. And the data can be accessed from both the sources and then run over the RAG and NLP and giving an output. As you already know, the NLP or RAG doesn't train on your data or doesn't store your data. It takes it, purges it, gives it back to you. That's all. And its hands are empty again. So there is no security leak there. I'll give you a 5-step implementation plan. You can jot it down on a paper. There are just 5 things that you need to write down and plan. Sit over a weekend and plan how you are going to implement it. It's a structured rollout plan for you, which ensures security, which ensures accuracy, and also user adoption from day one. Avoiding the unplanned deployments and the costly mistakes by this. Okay, let's start with document audit. Your inventory of internal documents and the sources needs to be listed out, is to be audited, which is correct, which is a one-time job. After that, it is repopulating as new things keep coming on. Then the security classification. Tag those data by the sensitivity and the access tab. What level of employee should have access to this data? Then set up the architecture of this. Deploy the LLM within your infrastructure, either on private cloud or on any of the player clouds or on premises. LLM, the vector database, and the processing engine, the NLP engine. Put all these three, set it up, and over that put the RAG and LLM configurations. Make sure the retrieval is tuned, the accuracy of the retrieval is tested, and the outputs validated. The fine-tuning of the performance of the RAG, NLP, and the data retrieval is one of the major things where you need to spend some time, because it has to go through a process of fine-tuning till the time you get the results you want, to an extent. Then, control rollout. Roll it out to one team, roll out to second team, roll out to third team, and see how it is going. At this stage, you find that your infra is going heavy. You need to upgrade that, and then continue the rollout. Very simple, easier way with no major issues, no breakdowns, no breaks in communications, no breaks in working. All people are happy to use it. The change that comes in is highly acceptable rather than the normal tendency of going about abiding that by not abiding for the change, going against the change. That normally happens. But in this scenario, it's very easy to use, Just nothing. The way they have been dealing it day in and day out, the same way they are working. So it's very easy, highly acceptable to all the users. Now, avoid these few mistakes. I think you have already noted down the 5 points. If not, yeah, note it down. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Just write it down. Let me know when you're done. All happy? Document audit, security classification, architecture setup, RAG and LLM configurations, and control rollout. All fine? That's good? Great. Now, avoid these mistakes that are very costly, and these are the root cases, causes where the deployments or where implementation of AIs fail. Awareness is the first line of defense. So please make sure these things are not messed around, these things are not taken lightly, and write them in bold and underlined on your papers, on your notebooks. First is using public AI for sensitive data. The most common and most costly mistake that many have been doing it, and once gone, it's not retrievable. It's a one-way journey. It doesn't return back. So make sure, make it a policy for the company tomorrow. Monday it should be on your policy notes that no use of public data, public AI for any sensitive data, which is the proprietary data of your company. No access control. Without role-based permissions, every employee sees every document. It's a compliance disaster, unaffordable disaster. Think of the day when your targets or maybe when your financial turnovers, profits, these numbers are seen by a guy who's sitting at the lower level in the front end reception, by a guy who is a security standing on the gate. Think of it. It's a utter disaster. Make sure nothing happens in that line. Proper access control is there. And to catch an issue in case happened is why we need audit logging. Anything that happens has to have logs. No logs, there is no accountability. Nobody is responsible. Everybody raises their hand that I don't know. I am not responsible. So make sure there is proper logging for each and everything that happens inside that. And skipping document cleanup is very important. Your document needs to be clean, updated. Always remember, garbage in is garbage out. You put a garbage in, you cannot get gold out. What you give is what you get, as I mentioned earlier. You give good, it gives you good. You give rubbish, it gives you rubbish. Can't help. It's a machine after all. You can't think of a human being who digests the rubbish and then generates good data out of it. No, it's a human, it's a machine. So what you give in has to be what you get out. Make sure there is properly structured, tagged, and reliable documents that is been sent to AI. Else you get unreliable answers. Don't get edgy if you get something like that. Okay? And over engineering early. Don't do that. There is a tendency among us business owners. Yeah, do the best. That best is not. Do what is needed. Do what is needed today, or do what will be needed for the next 1 year. Because today technology is expanding very fast, growing pretty fast at a very high run rate. You don't know what's going to come within a year. So always engineer your architecture, engineer your infrastructure the way that can sustain you for 1 year. And take the audit logs, keep on reviewing it every month. Have a team for reviewing it every day, every week. So you know if there is something that's going wrong or may go wrong in the near future. Is your server's loads hitting the high levels at times? Is it going above average levels? Your server peak times, your server running times. Keep a track of that. You know what's going to come, and you can be prepared well ahead of that. No problems at all. You will have sufficient time to upgrade whatever is needed if you are having a good track of your audit reports. So only start simple, validate the concept, then scale. That's simple. That's we all learn in business. Always any new startup they learn from there. You start simple, validate your business model, and then scale. Same way, start simple, validate, and scale in AI. Now, what you should remember. I hope you have written down these mistakes, no? In bold and underline. And anything, anybody missed anything? Note it down. Okay. Now, what you should remember, the 4 principles that guides every private AI initiative inside your organization should be: AI unlocks hidden knowledge. You should know that. Your documents already contain the answers your teams are searching for every day. It's just that they cannot pick it up as they need. So AI unlocks that. It's a very important thing. It's a golden rule. And privacy must come first. Architecture decisions made at the start determine your risk exposure for years to come. If the architecture you are involved, if the authorization level for role-based access you are involved in the initial stages, it stabilizes. You don't get exposures at any point of time. You don't get hiccups. You don't get bombing news in the morning. You are comfortable. And control matters more than the hype. A private auditable AI system is more valuable than the powerful one you cannot govern. It's like taking an AI robot which you cannot control. Doesn't make any sense for you. Does it make? No. And private AI is possible today. That's the final outcome of what you have been talking. Private AI is possible, it's available, the technology is there, you can do it. The risk of waiting is greater than the risk of starting. Don't you think so? That this data, if would have been available to me in the way I wanted earlier, I should have scaled faster. I should have grown faster. Yes, it's possible today. The technology is there. Only you need the right people to get it implemented for you. Now, secure intelligence starts with control. Audit. Again, I am telling you these things. Audit your documents, choose your architecture, and start with a pilot. Don't go all out. Now, you're ready to build your private AI? I'm opening the floor for questions. Any questions you can bring in? Let's go ahead. Okay. Now, anybody has any further questions, you can always connect back with me. We can have a direct chat and help you how you can do that. It's always open for you. You have these 2 websites. One is my company website, one is a personal website where you can connect on both of them. And do send a connection request and we can talk and see how easy it is for you to implement, how you can implement. You need guidance, you need advice, you need support. We are there to support you. Okay, thank you very much. It was great talking to you. It was fun. I hope you have noted down the important points that I mentioned across the meeting and you would try to work over that over the weekend and see how you can bring up a plan, actionable plan for your organization that can help you implement this and make sure you get data ingested, digested, and got out to you the way you want, the faster you want. Yeah, let's do it. Catch you up. Let's catch up on the next webinar. Next week again, we'll talk something you feel you need to talk about. You can connect with me and let me know. We will see if we can take that topic. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.